So I'm going to tell you guys about my story, cold water surf to customer research, and the connection there. I always start. It's really funny because I start all my presentations with a picture of my mom and dad. You know, that's where I've come from. They're incredible parents, and they did a number of different things for myself and our three siblings, but they gave us confidence to do some wild shit. Funny enough, they don't know that I use this photo of their marriage. So if they're watching, mom and dad, I'm using it. The journey started with this idea that I was going to start a cold water surf company with this other guy. And you know, when my father being IMF and my mother being World Bank, and when I came up to them and said, all right, you know, I know I got a great job here in DC, but I think I'm going to start a surf company. You know, my mom being the daughter of a first world politician, you know, she's all heart, and my dad was a bit more pragmatic, so he's like, oh, okay, a cold water surf company. So you must be going to a Mecca, Australia. You thinking about California? I was like, no. So I'm thinking about it's located in the armpit of the UK, on the north coast of Cornwall, in a tin shed. And my dad's just like, okay, you're right. Okay, let me wrap my head around this. They must be selling incredible product. It must be incredible. Margins must just be. No, actually, it's one product. It's a blue waterproof fleece, and it's ugly as shit. So, but you know, I believed in it. I've been surfing my whole entire life, and we started something, and 10 years later, 3 million private equity, Observe Ethical Awards, RSPCA awards, we achieved incredible things, and I felt very privileged to, you know, I'm very passionate about cold water surfing, and the idea that we can build products to allow people to travel and live in these cold water surf environments. That was an incredible position to be in, and we did that, and that image, these two tents, located, you know, a long way away from here, in the middle of nowhere, with nobody on or surfing those waves, is what we kind of created aspirationally. And if someone told me, you know, it's really interesting, but if someone told me when we started the business that you get a front page spread in The Guardian, the rise of cold water surfing, I would have slipped off my chair, you know. But we did that. So it was an incredible thing to be a part of. In saying that, there was a problem. So head of marketing, you know, from a sales and marketing product service point of view, sales and marketing, it was polished and beautiful, and people are coming, but there was something going on. They were bouncing. We were selling stuff on discount. What was going? So revenue growth 30% year on year, great. But from a profitability point of view, there was just it didn't work out. It didn't work out. It's just like loads of noise, loads of traction, bounce. Got to hustle newsletters. Something was going on here. And I remember we were sat in a board meeting, and the head of the private equity firm, sharp as a tack, and you got a lot of respect for him. And he looks at me, and he asked me a question. He goes, you know, it was almost as if we were taking this business and turning it over a little bit. Like, what the shit's going on here? And he's the type of guy to ask a question, and he'd look at your lips. It's like, this answer better be good. And so head of marketing, he's like, Ernie, you know, who's our customer? Straight at my lips. And I was like, I remember at that point, I was like, I'm going to give him two answers. I'm going to give him an idea of who I hope it is. Some hipster with a beard, works 3 days a week, gets paid £1,000 a day, and then surfs cold waves somewhere and flies back on a Monday. Or someone who I actually thought it was. But both answers were going to be assumptive. And so I gave my answer, and then head of product gave their answer. And then another co-founder gives his answer. And we realized this is ABC 125-55 bullshit that we're trying to shoot at. And people, you know, we buy things because we get emotionally engaged. We get emotionally engaged because it's got to be really, really relevant. It's got to talk to us. When businesses are trying to do this, I mean, Forbes says 90% of startups fail. Market research, when that happened, I just thought to myself, my God, we're running a business here, and we have no idea who the person is that's buying our shit. So, you know, one person's doing it for one, product and designer doing it for another. And when you think of market research, it's not me saying this, but when I think about market research, it's predicated. It's predicated on SWOT analysis and knowing who your customers are. You know, and there's a whole, so we started to hypothesize, this is our problem inside the business. And it's like, well, so I had a few mates running some really rad brands, and I I reached out to them and I asked them, I was like, well, do you know who buys your stuff? And the answers were very similar. Well, you know, it's this person. It's this person. It's, you know, we think they're 25, they're also 45. I mean, just go there in your head how difficult it is to actually market to a 25-year-old and a 45-year-old. They're totally different. 45-year-olds, well-established, washing their cars on a Sunday. A 25-year-old is like canning drink and on Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook, generalizing here. But it's very difficult if you're going to try to sell a product and a service and try to create the sales and marketing message and speak to them relevant so they emotionally engage and come. That if the two are off center, if it's very, very wide, it's very, very difficult to find that traction. So we asked a whole bunch of people who buys your stuff, and we started to find out the exact same thing. And you know, from a problem, so online SMEs, a lot of them out there, they're all functioning without a clear idea as to who's driving their business. And if you were to, you could do it now, do it afterwards. But if you're to search, so online SMEs, if they need a web developer, they can search web developer, and you're going to get 1,001 people trying to create something for them. You know, and in terms of the sites that whether it's like a small boutique business or a really large business trading at 15 million. And if you did the same thing with CRM, you're going to get a whole bunch. If you do customer research, if you type in customer research, there's no one out there. The closest thing to it is Oracle Experian. And I mean, you click, I mean, this is web design. Create a website for £299. Online CRM, it's a CRM for small business. Customer research is customer research Oracle. If you go to it, I'm not kidding you guys. You click on it, you're gonna fall off your chair. It doesn't talk to you. It's not relevant. It is expensive. It is arduous. So we did the work at Finisterre, and it took a long time. It was expensive. And we found out who it was that was driving our business. And that put us in an incredible position from a sales and marketing point of view, from a PR point of view. You know, you find out a lot of stuff about the people that are actually driving your business. I'm not talking about the audience, but the people who drive your business. We're going for broadsheets because you've got to make a lot of noise. Let's pay a PR agency £3,600 a month. And you find out the person that's actually the customer profile that's driving your business is actually consuming their media digitally. So it's like, that's probably a bad idea. So it all starts with the customer. And so we're going hard at it. We launched Who Buys Your Stuff. We launched it about 10 months ago. We got 13 clients, all ranging between 500,000 and 15 million. And we're doing just that. We are selling lead personas. We are going into the business. We're finding out through a series of different techniques whether it's two-part tech and traditional market research techniques, but we go in and we uncover the lead persona, the customer profile that's contributing to the majority of their revenue. And the businesses and the clients that we're working with, I have them on speed dial. Anybody who gets in contact with us, please call any one of the clients that we're working with. The value has been huge. So, and that, it's been nuts. Even when I say, I usually sometimes ask everybody to close their eyes, depending on the meditate, and just think about the key members of staff within their businesses and ask them. Just go there in your head, in the four walls that you guys usually have big meetings. Ask key members of staff, who's our customer, who's our customer? Think about the responses you get back. And 9 times out of 10, it's really, really wide. And if you're sitting on the data, a lot of these online SMEs, you can find out. So you guys are probably asking, how do we do it? And like I alluded to earlier, we divided a methodology where we use two-part technology and traditional market research techniques. And the two-part technology, has anybody here ever seen Spaceballs? Yeah, great. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so it's a Mel Brooks film. It's a parody on Star Wars. And there's a part where the big ship turns into a maid, and she starts to hoover up oxygen. Well, that's what our technology is doing. It is hoovering up publicly available information from everywhere, and it's verging on creepy. What comes back, what you can find out. So we're finding out who the customers are, and then we're putting email addresses, first names and last names, and that technology, our own technology, and also third-party technology, because there's no point in trying to replicate what some of these guys have done. It's incredible. And we're finding the ways in which they communicate, if they've ever done a blog, if they're highly active on social media, TripAdvisor, any of those kind of things. You can find out the way in which people are writing. And then you can very quickly get a clear idea as to who that person is and best words to communicate to them with. And a whole bunch from a demographic point of view, behavioral point of view. And when I talk about traditional market research techniques, FlatSpot's one of the businesses we work with. And they trade at a really high level. And these guys, the guys to the left and right of Andy, who's wearing the beanie in the black t-shirt, though they're not the audience. You know, we got a lot of people, a lot of clients come, they're like, well, we're gonna go mine our social media. I don't give a shit about Twitter and I don't give a shit about Instagram. It's part of it, but I gotta know the people who interact with that and then give you buy 10 items and spend 1,200 pounds with you. Who are they? They're all engaged on all those comms, but then they come in and we wanna know those. So that's who these guys are. These guys aren't people who are flirting and just posting stuff and putting likes. These guys are ones that are heavily engaged with the brand and then they go on to spend 1,200 pounds and we need to find out more of them. So we rub elbows with these best customers. And that's our methodology, two-part tech and traditional market research techniques. And that is, we're in the business of selling lead personas, so the customer profile that's driving the majority of your revenue. And this is what clients are getting. This one here was, and just to give you an example, one of the businesses we've worked with is called Active in Style. When we went in, we asked them who buys your stuff. And we got 25 to 45. Then let's go there now. So it's a athleisure activewear brand doing some great things, just opened up a pop-up. And we asked who buys your stuff, and we get, well, it's 45-year-old yummy mummies, and also 25-year-old young girls who are just coming to London, and they're ready to get active. So 25-year-old who's just starting her career, 45-year-old yummy mummy. I mean, what do those worlds look like? 45-year-old yummy mummy, it's a state, and she probably drives in a state with apple cores in the back, young kids. 25-year-old. So just go there in terms of this ABC1 wide approach and trying to build a business around that it's a scary place to run either sales and marketing products and services. So we go and we find out. We run our technology, we do market research techniques, and we find out that the person, she's not even married. She's not even a yummy mummy. She's not even 25. She's between 28 and 34 years old, highly engaged with working out and being fit. She is engaged, no kids. So just go there in terms of like a marketing point of view. She's not a yummy mummy. She's actually the antithesis of the yummy mummy. She's aware she's gonna have kids. So start thinking about like the relevant marketing they can start putting out and speak to all of those people who are aware they're gonna have kids, but right now I'm just gonna put the best playlist on and crush asphalt. You know, so does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's good. So, and then how to communicate, use emotionally expressive language. So you can very quickly, like the flat spot, the business I just talked to you guys about, we went in, who's buying your stuff? Between 20 and 35-year-old. We do our work, we find out it's a 19-year-old, makes less than 19,000 pounds a year, lives with a single mother, listens to Drake, which is like heavy hip hop, doesn't use Facebook, isn't really on Twitter, uses Instagram, and when they communicate, it's like fist pump, fuck yeah, fireworks. You know, this 20 to 35-year-old, that's just sales and marketing. Imagine the products that you'd be buying. You think you're gonna do a buy with maybe a brand with like Patagonia. If that was on the cards, and it's like, well, we're gonna do some buying for these customers that we think between 20 and 35 years old, and we find out that the customer's 19, I don't think a 19-year-old's gonna be buying a 320-pound down jacket, Patagonia. So very quickly, and they were an early on example of figuring out who it is driving their business, applying that to the levers you can pull on the wall very, very quickly, which is sales and marketing. And they're now transferring that lead persona into their products and services. And no shit, they're doing great. So, and along with all the other clients that we're working with, which I'm very, very proud of. So here, with regards to who buys your stuff and our ambitions, they're lofty as hell. And this idea that online SMEs don't know and are operating with a rough idea as to who it is that's driving their business. We're going to be the customer research business that is identifying the hearts of their business, their actual quantifiable customers. And when you think of MailChimp, it's really, really simple. It's really, really simple. It's MailChimp, do good newsletters. SurveyMonkey, send good surveys. Squarespace, anybody can make a website. Who buys your stuff? Customer research for online SMEs. And it's really exciting. So I think that's pretty much me. But yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.